I want to talk to you guys about patience. I'm going to go back. So I actually did a speech on this at a church probably like a year ago. And I've just had some people who've been dealing with patience, including me. So I thought, you know what? This is a good day to talk about patience because patience is a virtue, right? That's what people say. Oh, patience is a virtue. No, it's not actually. Patience is not a virtue. Patience is something you get to accomplish and tackle. I think it's something you study. I think it's something you can get really good at. I sucked at it. And I watched that, or I read this book called The Respect of Patience or something. It's on my website on the best of books. Patience is something you can aspire to. It's something you can make a goal of. It is a muscle that you can get better at. Okay. So do we all understand that? Because I don't believe it's a virtue. That's just Laurie's opinion on the world. So when you guys have patience, you can effectively communicate better. All of a sudden, what happens to your heart is there's like this door that opens to love and understanding. If you have patience with, let's say, someone who's in a wheelchair and you're in a hurry, you're trying to get by or you're trying to move along, and this person goes really slowly, having patience means that they feel more comfortable with you and you feel more comfortable with them. For example, Simone and I were in Vegas. Sometimes it took her a while to get ready. She had to do a few things before we to go, where I'm like, I'm ready. I don't need a lot of time. I have my lashes done. I have my hair short. I can jump and go. Simone needed a little bit more time. Having patience with her made our friendship better. I stayed quiet and calm, and she was able to catch up. In your marriage, having patience for your husband who's having an affair, cheating on you, and is with another woman is the hardest thing you can freaking do. I was at church the other day. Someone was saying, "Oh, Laura, you coach people, blah, blah." And I said, yeah, I said, it's kind of like a death, but it's just as hard, especially like if a child dies. And I tried to explain that to her. And she was like, yeah, death is really hard. And I remember thinking, she didn't have a clue. She has no idea the pain people feel from having a spouse leave. And I know you face that every day. And I forgot. And it was flat in my face. And I was just like, am I having patience for her? Because she's not going to understand it. Your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your kids, they think you're crazy. Having patience for them who may not know what you're dealing with and may never know, it's patience for them to let you breathe and you let them breathe. Just time, space, and patience. That's why I don't think it's a virtue. Is it something we all, if we all can get there, we're moralistically better in the world? Yeah, but I don't think it's easy. Let's put it that way. People like to rush. When is my husband coming home? I want my husband home now. I want my husband home yesterday. How long is it going to take? Here is something I know. No one who ever rushes gets their spouse home quicker. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And on the previous part of this call, I had said, if you recorded calls with me from the beginning, go back and listen to those phone calls. You will hear how you're racing and you're trying to get your questions answered. And maybe I talk and you don't listen to me and you talk right past me. There's no patience there because there's no understanding and there's no level of like worldly knowledge of blimpism that you can actually control what happens by being patient. Because when you're patient, you're actually in control. And that's the trick. Because you think by being faster or being impatient, you're going to get something. And it's just not how the world works. By being patient, you have control over your own brain. And you can think, and you can be quiet, and you can strategize. Okay, someone needs to remind me to talk about checkmate. I just heard about it yesterday, and it is probably one of my greatest things I'm going to ever talk about. And I ordered a painting because of it, but just ask me about it in a minute. Emotional connection is something that your husband wants. I was reading somewhere how I know what it was. It was on a woman who's an affair partner. She was talking about how she thought, this affair partner lady thought, by being this emotional, connecting person and talking about things all the time, because he said, my wife and I never talked. My wife never listened to me. So the affair person took it all and took all this stuff on. And then as time went on, he started pulling away from her. And she was like, wait, I thought he needed this. I thought he needed to be close to someone. And now he doesn't hug me. He doesn't touch me. He doesn't come to me. And it's been a couple years. It's because he's going back into normal. That person that he needed so much from, he didn't really need anything. What was missing was something inside of him at that moment in time, which caused him to jump out of a marriage, find someone else, and is now stuck over there. Whereas if he would have just stayed here, all these needy feelings that he needed from you, the wife or the husband or whoever, to get to feel better, it goes away because this too shall pass. He'll be back to normal and he won't really need all those crazy moments of sitting around hugging and talking about the moon. It goes away. But when he's with the new person, it's exciting, it's new, it's huggy, lovey, and then it goes away again because he doesn't need it anymore. It's just a relationship now. But what happens is now that he's with this new relationship, he wonders why he was not in that other one. And there's a big loss. And this woman was saying how her boyfriend, still boyfriend, would leave and go visit ex-wife and kids. And it would bug Horseface to see her boyfriend go off that way. Well, that's her mistake for getting involved in a married man who she was part of the destruction. And if I was coaching her, which I'm not, I would tell her to have patience. But even if she had patience, if the wife, the first person who was married to him, had more patience and really became what he was hoping she would be from the beginning he met her, you, the wife, back to what you were when he first met you, there's no reason on this planet that he wouldn't start falling back in love with you because now he's back to who he is. He's just with the wrong person. So you having patience in that moment, not to rush things, to take it really slow, to listen more, to be quiet, to be still, to be patient with the process. It might be 5 years. It might be 6 years. It might be 7. He might marry the other girl. Good God, he might have a child. Let's not talk about it. That happens a little bit, not often. Those things happen, right? But you having patience puts you on another level because he's not aware of what patience in a relationship looks like because you never had it in the beginning because you both were just going through life and living life and then getting married and having kids, right? And now today, it's a new level. Having patience stops fights. He gets mad, says something, you don't say anything back. He's acting up and you go quiet. Think about it. He goes, and you go, He's waiting for the reaction and you're calm and patient. Less fights, less problems that would get bigger because you're not saying the word why. He says something and you say, well, why do you feel that way? Well, why did that have to happen? When any woman or man says, well, why, blah, 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 the other person has to defend themselves or their position, which gets them mad. And that creates more heat, which will turn into an argument. Never, ever, 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 ever answer anyone with the word why. Why are we doing it this way? Instead, say, well, what is the reason that we're going to do it this way? Totally different than why. Why? Kids ask why, and parents get frustrated. Think about it. Patience. Your kid says, why, mommy, are you doing that? All right, I'm going to answer you with patience. Think about it. Where else can you be patient when someone says why to you? You're not going to say why anymore because that will take away him having to be patient because he's not ready. All these things you're learning, husband doesn't know any of them. You do, which makes you into a different level of someone you can communicate with. You're going to be an expert communicator. I had a woman come over here a few days ago, walked in, husband just left, friend of mine, well, a friend of a friend. I know her. I've met her a couple times. And she's like, I never thought I'd use your services. She was married for 15 years, I think, and decided she hated her husband and left him and then was with this new guy and fell in love with him. And of course, this new guy is off with someone else because he doesn't value or cherish a commitment. And he jumped and she's devastated. So she's crying sad. And I held her for like, gosh, literally like an hour. And it was horrific, absolutely horrific. And in that moment for her, the beginning phases of when a man leaves you, having patience with yourself is so hard. And Simone was with me and we heard it. And, it brings up things in our own self of what life was like back then. And we know what it was like. If I were to say to her, you need to have patience, she'd be like, huh? It just doesn't make any sense. And how do you reach someone that deep? I mean, this woman is in suicide zone. Like something could happen, but I think we got her through it. I think she's on the better side right now, but it happens. And having patience in these moments where you're looking at someone dead in their eyes and you're having a conversation without looking over there or looking over here or looking down, you're just waiting. It changes things. Having patience is building a muscle inside of ourselves so that we can get through any tough season. This is a season. This husband leaving, wife leaving is a season. This will be the hardest season you will ever go through, unless if one of your children dies. That will be way worse. And I've dealt with people who've been here and had that happen too. Just a handful. Sucks. Worse. So recognize that once you get through this, you guys, nothing in your life will ever be as worse. You will be able to handle anything that comes along with love and patience and understanding, which is the benefit that people who've been through my program and have gotten their husbands home or not home, who just have left, and they say, learning these little weird skills and practicing them with other people just besides your spouse changes who you are. And that's the benefit of this limbo time if you use it right. Back to that woman who was here on my couch the other day. I said to her a couple things, and her answer to me was, why do I have to do this? Why is it on me? Have you said that? Because the answer is because you're chosen. I look at it that way because I used to say the same thing. Why do I have to do all this? Why can't he do it? Because he doesn't know. He's still catching up. Where I have gone through it and through it and through it, and I figured things out, which means in my relationship with him, which is this tiny in my world, everything else is really easy. This is great. He struggles because he hasn't learned as much as me. He'll get there. I'm not going to be his teacher. I'm going to model the behavior. But everything else I deal with is operating on my lessons that I learned here. Because I didn't say, why is it me? I just said, okay, I guess I'm going to learn this. Not for this, but for everything I do. Remember that. That's a huge part of your life. Patience is a response. We respond instead of reacting. So something happens and you respond to it. Something happens and you react. There's a difference. So if somebody does something and we have the patience, just a couple beats before you respond, it will change your life, especially when it comes to your spouse, because I believe the spouse is the devil right now. And he's going to do things that goes, he's not coming to you going, wow, this is great, isn't it? No, he's coming to you going, what? He's going to sound terrible, look terrible, act terrible, make you feel bad. That's what he's supposed to do because his job is to piss you off so that you take all this stuff and go sideways and start spreading it to other people. I'm not going to do that. This morning, I was on a call with a woman and she told me that her son, this is the second thing, this is the second time this has kind of happened. Her son, I guess husband lives nearby. The son went over to the house and was trying to get the dad's attention and saw that dad had a woman over. And the son didn't know that. And that's a tough conversation to come home and tell your mom. And then mom, in turn, has to tell the son, dad's going through something. And it's that exchange right there that mom could dump on son, your dad's an whatever. Or, what is it I need to tell my son so that my son feels better? Not so that my ego feels better that dad screwed up, but so that my kid feels better. That takes a moment. And that takes the patience to understand your role. I'm a teacher. I'm not using my son as someone to make me feel better or justified because my husband's an asshole because he's cheating at me. your dad's cheating on me. Feel bad. That's like taking a 10-pound weight and putting it on your son's head. We don't want to do that ever. And it sucks because we want everyone to know sometimes because we want to feel better because he's screwing up, not us. But that's our ego. And we got to control that. Having patience teaches us that we are not perfect. My favorite thing to do is tell people, I'm so sorry, I'm rushing. I have no patience. Or on the retreat when I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. We have to be there. And I'm like, I am bossy. I have no patience. When you say that out loud, it's like you're telling people, I'm not perfect. I have a lot of screw ups and I'm going to say things out loud and I'm really sorry. And other people go, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So my lack of patience and being able to talk about it instead of thinking I'm perfect actually makes me get closer to people. And then other people look at me and say, she's not perfect. I made that clear at the retreat. When you go to the retreat, you are with me 24 hours a day for however long you're there, unless we're sleeping. I don't hide. Maybe we take a break to go rest for a little while, but you're with me the whole time. I am on. I'm able to ask your questions the whole time. I switch between coach hat and then being your friend hat, but I've got coach hat on more. And that time is me having to be patient because sometimes I'm tired. And I really don't want to answer this question when I've already answered it 5 times to other people and the other person wasn't listening, but I do it anyway. Why? Because I have the utmost patience for you guys forever. I always will. And that is something I've learned, being patient with my husband when he thinks he knows everything or he gets mad at me about something. Oh, okay. He gets mad at me a lot. And when he does, I have a lot of patience while he sorts it through. And by the end, he goes, you know what? That was probably my fault. I'm so sorry. If you let someone talk long enough and you have patience with them, they'll start out here that it's your fault. Blah, 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 blah. And by the time they get back here, they'll be like, well, it's probably my fault. But if you stop them right here, you're still at fault. But if you let them keep going, they're going to get back to the place where they realize what's happening. People talk themselves in there. That's why therapists love letting people talk, wasting your money and time, but they do that. Anyway, you could talk to a friend just as long and say, come to the same result. You'll get there but you just need to talk something out. Having patience opens the door to forgiveness because when you're patient, you have time to think about, I'm not perfect. And if I'm not perfect, I want to be forgiven. And if I want to be forgiven, the person who's talking to me obviously needs to be forgiven too. And that comes with time. Think about it. Just as I'm talking, do you feel calmer? If someone like me was in your life every day, you would feel, okay, this feels good. I feel good. This is good. Become that for other people. And depending on what stage you are in right now, where your husband is left early, or if he's been gone for a while, really depends on your level of patience. In the beginning, it's tough. And you'll hear it on this call when people are racing through their questions. It takes time. And if you work that muscle, I'm telling you, your life is going to change. And patience is huge. It will change everything. And it will save your marriage at the end of the day. I do want to tell you guys a funny story. So where did I hear it? Someone sent me a video of a picture that I just bought on Amazon because I'm like that. I saw it and I'm like, what? Checkmate. Is anyone answering me or someone not on mute? So there's something called checkmate. There's a picture of a devil at a chess table, which you know is my favorite analogy. The devil's at the chess table and he's kind of pulling back, looking away like he won the game. And on the opposite side, who he's playing with is a guy. And the guy's like devastated that he's about to lose his soul because that was the bet he had against the devil. He bet his soul against the devil that he was going to win. And he's like, And then in between them is an angel standing there kind of like, uh-oh, this is a problem. This picture was painted in the 1700s. And then somewhere in the late 1800s, someone else was looking at this picture who was a chess expert, the best chess player of the world. Not sure if it was in his house or it was at a museum, but he was looking at it and he studied the chess table. And he looked at all the pieces on the chess table and he saw that the next move of the man would be to move the king. And if he moved the king, one move, he would win the game. But that guy didn't see it, the devil didn't see it, and the angel didn't see it. But the person who's a chess expert did. And he said he could have won the game. This picture is wrong. Or maybe this picture is right. And the artist drew it this way, wondering if anyone would catch the puzzle. Because just when you think there's no way out, you're dead, you're going to lose your soul, you're trapped, there's one more move, and that puts you in the winning spot. I love that. To me, that's hope. That is why I purchased a picture of it today on Amazon for like $100. I had to do it. Brad, my husband, was like, "Why did you buy this?" I'm like, "You have no idea. I'm going to hang it up with my other fiery picture." I love that stuff. Love it, love it, love it. So I don't know who sent it to me, but it took me on a rabbit hole and I had so much fun texting some people about it. And I discovered a lot about it. Always be learning. That was from the 1700s. Good God. Someone painted it that long ago? Crazy. But the devil playing chess with you. And you have one more move that you can't see. So when someone says, "It's hopeless, it's never going to work out," there's always one more move. I like to talk about it like, here's that wall that you think comes down. We're getting divorced. Boom. No, there's a crack. If you look closely in all kinds of paper, you can see light. There's always light there. But now I have a chess table. It's a new way of looking at it. And I love analogies. Anyway, okay, I'm done talking. Who wants to go first?